Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Yes, this night in 1603 was a very big night in England, and there's bonfires going on in that part of the world, and there's probably a lot of bonfires going on just south of us. Anyways, we're going to bring in my guest, Nate. How are you, Nate?
Hello. I'm very good. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Welcome to the first episode of Matt Likes Comics and Live Shows.
I'm honored to be your first guest, man.
Yes. Well, we're going to try some stuff that are a little different tonight. Let's say hi to the people that are out there in the chat. Hi, Christina. Welcome.
Christina.
K. Munin.
Hey,
Good
K.
to see
Munin.
you.
And Christina,
And
congratulations on that win, girl.
yeah, well, that's all we've got at the moment. But we're going to do a couple things first. This week, I had a little bit of little prezzies come in. I had one here that came from British Columbia. If you don't mind, I'm going to make myself big for a minute.
Go for it.
This came from my friend Lyle, who everybody knows. Oh, look, speak of the devil, and he shows. Hi, Lyle.
Hey, Lyle.
I'm just about to show your package. I have taken the liberty of doing the cutting in advance in order to cut down on time. So let us see what Lyle has sent today. Oh, he's done a heck of a job with the taping. Always a good sign. Looks like I'm going to have to open something else here. Because this may surprise you, but both sides are boards.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's protected.
Hey, he's protected. Jeez, they're even taped. Wow. That is impressive. Bring out my trusty little model cutting knife. And we'll see. And here it is. He sent me a copy of Absolute Batman #1.
Awesome.
Yes.
Such everybody either loves or hates it. And
you know what? I'm going to give it a read, and I'm sure I'm going to be on the fence.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's probably I've heard actually most people I know have said it's very good. And so I'm actually looking forward to reading it like I read everything else. Hello, SideQuest Comics. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric.
So, the next package that I got, this one came all the way from Oregon. This one, Stephen Gettner sent me. And this is an A-OK, similar to what he sent you last week. Again, I've taken the liberty of opening the box. And let's see what's inside. I have no idea what's in here. Like yourself there, Hall, yeah?
Yeah, that was exciting. There were some great books in there that I opened up.
I did know what Lyle was sending me, but I just wanted to have some fun. I'm glad you have sent it, Lyle. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Well, now I'm in suspense, man. What do you got?
Well, let me just get through this big bag here. I just saw the front cover that he's one of the ones. This is one of the 100 of Zatanna. Holy smokes.
Whoa.
Wow. It's got the certificate of authenticity in the back. My God.
That's awesome.
Oh, boy. We've got, oh, wow. Superman 154.
Wow.
Whoa.
I
That's
love
amazing.
that cover.
That's amazing. Wow. Oh my God.
It's Christmas for Matt.
Dude.
No way.
Superman 199. Oh my God. This is in great shape. Much better than my own copy.
Oh, there's your upgrade, brother.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Wow.
And this looks like wow. This is the last book coming up. Oh my God. I cannot get over this. It's a Golden Age one. Volume 1, number 1 of Payoff True Crime Cases.
Cool.
Oh my God. Stephen, if you're watching, if you see this, thank you very much. I am so blown away right now. I am wow.
Those are great. Those are
Wow.
great.
Oh, just quickly again for those that Payoff number 1, volume 1. I'll just do this big again. Superman 199, the first race between Superman and the Flash.
That is outstanding.
Superman 154 with Mixoplick turning a sub into a banana. And this 11 of 100 Zatanna variant. Oh my gosh.
That is so cool, man.
Stephen, thank you with all my heart. I'll be talking to you after the show, I think. Well, what we're going to do tonight, this is my new show, and we're going to try something a little different than what we've done before. Hello, Dr. Von Chilla. Hello, yes, side quest, a submarine banana.
I have lost out on that particular cover like 3 or 4 times on Whatnot auctions.
I have looked at it a couple times. I actually almost bought it at the Comic-Con we went to this weekend, thinking it might be a great cover.
I think I
saw the Alice Cooper book.
I think I saw it on the wall. Was it a wall book in your video?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I saw it and I was like,
that I think too. But what we're going to do tonight, instead of the usual, we're going to do an interview and I thought we would do things a little differently. We're going to start off with a little game, and then my friend Nate here is going to show some of his books, and then we're going to do some trivia. When we get to the trivia, I invite everyone that's in the chat to throw out answers at the same time. This is all about having some fun together, instead of doing just the usual. And I'm not saying the usual thing is bad. That is not it. I'm just trying something out. Let's see if we like it or not. So the first thing I'm doing is called First Impressions. Only, I think Cam Union's kind of sick of the ferret.
I did not bring any ferret, but yes. I promise the ferret is always within reach.
Yes, here too. This first game is going to be called First Impressions. Hi, Locke. Welcome to the show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up a book, and Nate is going to look at it and give to me what his first impression is when he sees the cover. Okay, for the most part, these are silly covers that I've Stephen, thank you very much.
Stephen.
Thank you. I am absolutely blown away. I cannot. I'm gonna have to call you later because I oh wow. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so I'll hold up the cover. Nate, give the impressions. Anybody in the chat has something funny they want to say about it, go ahead and say it, and we'll put it up on the screen. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to go big for a second. World's Finest 240.
Oh, does Batman have a gun?
Batman has a gun.
Superman. All right. So, this is a little remember the 5th of November to me, man. We got
one of the reasons I picked this cover.
Yeah. So Batman's toppling the monarchy by breaking his one rule.
The words on the cover say, "Here in the bottle city of Kandor, Superman has no powers. Do as ordered, Batman. Execute King Superman."
And that's funny because I have a King Superman comic as well, where yeah, I mean, my first impression is I've got to read it. I mean, that's great.
You know what? I read it today, and it's pretty interesting.
Cool. I mean, you got Bottle City. What's the price on that?
This is 1978. It's 30 cents.
Okay. It's a little later. Like, some of those World's Finest, especially from that era, I've actually been thinking of kind of letting go. But that's a great cover. I mean, that almost looks like a Silver Age cover.
Yes,
it's so ridiculous.
Yes. Well, what is your most okay? We've got a comment here from SideQuest. Is that Professor X in the back? No, that is the Prime Minister of Kandor.
I love that they have a Prime Minister.
Well, for lack of a better phrase, he's the King's advisor, right? And in our kind of that's usually the Prime Minister. So,
yeah, I like it. I like it. I would buy it. I would read it.
I agree with you, Andreas. They do always go away to make Superman look as vulnerable as possible. No, it's Kandor, which is the bottle city that's inside the thing. But I just say that because usually the first advisor to a king is a prime minister or advisor, whatever, first among equals. So that's that one. The next one, again, I picked for its comedic value. Okay. We have Adventure Comics 324. And the reason I picked this is the guy with the big head.
Yes. I have this one. I love this. You've got Tiger Guy. You've got the Conehead, Mist Girl. I mean, you get everything you need right there on the cover. That's going to be a fun one to read, man.
That's cool.
Nice, Eric. Good job.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the Legion building looks real. My first impression is that Legion building looks weird for the Legion building. Like, doesn't it look?
It looks so small.
It looks so narrow and skinny. What is the guy? What is the Conehead guy? What's Big Head guy's name?
El Volvo Lad.
El Volvo.
His power is that he can go up or down the evolutionary train for humans and go back to the ape area or become a futuristic man like this.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Is Tiger Guy's wearing a diaper?
It does look like it. He's got to be housebroken, right?
Yeah, his underwear on the outside is not that they picked a bad color for that.
He was Beast Boy 5 years before the other Beast Boy came along.
Yeah.
And I like that. This girl better hope no one turn out a fat. Her name is actually Gas Girl.
Gas Girl. That's right.
What kind of gas does she become?
Methane.
That would not be a fart because it's
methane.
It's methane.
Yeah, that's a great cover, buddy. That's a great cover. I like I said, I picked that one up just because I saw the guy with the cone head and the girl turning into mist.
Yes.
But yeah, I
agree, Dr. Vaughn.
What issue number is that?
This is issue 324.
Is that and you have, is that where you've got your complete run through? Like,
No, it was one of the second last batch.
okay. So what do you have? Do you have 200 to 300?
I have 300 to 380, and
Okay.
if you add the Supergirls that are right after, I have 300 right through to 422.
Nice.
Okay,
Very nice.
so the next one is not as ridiculous in the sense.
Oh,
Sorry about that, Stephen. Okay, this one is not ridiculous in the sense as the last two, but to me it's a bit ridiculous because of the people on the cover and the situation. This is Justice League of America 14 from December 2007. And it's a bunch of the if you look on the inside, the headquarters of the Legion of Doom makes an appearance, the one that looks like the Darth Vader helmet.
yeah.
So I wish that would be on a cover because that would be hilarious looking.
Yeah, I love that. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of
You
Doom.
know, I say that in our regular life. Meanwhile, my daughter walks down the stairs and I get shut up.
Oh, so let's see. That's Dwayne McDuffie era.
Yeah, I think it is a Dwayne McDuffie. Yeah, it is
what is, I don't know, maybe it's just the camera. It almost looks, yeah, okay, it is. It's the machines they've got around their heads.
Yes, they've been captured and put into sort of
it looks like they're being Clockwork Oranged.
Yeah. Hi, JSS.
JSS.
Good to see you. Well, to me, it's like you've got the most diverse group of villains. You've got a gorilla, a girl with green skin, a guy with really white skin, a girl with orange skin, and what looks like Dr. Light.
Yeah, it is Dr. Light and Lex. It reminds me of the Justice miniseries that Alex Ross painted. Like this was the same group of villains that in the same league almost that they were doing. But yeah,
which is funny because four of them were actually in the Legion of Doom on the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the ones that weren't was Poison Ivy and the Joker. So yeah, that's book number 3. Book number 4. This one to me is a little ridiculous. This is The Fly, number 3 from 1991. And the Fly is being attacked by 3 cops in the air. Somehow the cops are able to fly too.
Yeah, the cops look like moths.
Yes.
And their helmets, they look like the police from Superman the Animated Series. They always had those style of helmets with the blast shield. Yeah.
What I liked about this series was it was a 14-year-old boy who became similar to Captain Marvel. He'd become an adult when he was the Fly. Just at least he looked like a 21-year-old with still the mind of a 14-year-old. Like he didn't have the Captain Marvel thing where he was like playing the split personality. The Moth Police.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I never read many of these Impact books when they came out. I was aware of them. I do have The Fly number 1. I have Jaguar number 1, just because they've come up in 50-cent bins, and I grab a number 1 when I see it. But for some reason, I thought this was Archie that put this out, not Impact.
It's Archie owned, and what they did was they licensed with DC to put them out, and DC made the trade name Impact Comics.
Okay.
I did a video on Impact Comics not too long ago, and it's actually my most viewed video of all time.
That's nice niche.
Yeah, it's great, and I did like a whole bunch of Fly books in it. Cool. As my example. I picked up the Fly 1 and 3 at the show I was at because I didn't have them. And this is the last book. This is a more standard cover, but I picked it because of the ridiculousness of the characters. This is Justice League of America, first volume, 258. Just as they're ending.
Yes. Justice League Detroit.
And
Sign me up, baby.
This one is a minor key because it's the death of Vibe.
Yeah.
So
I don't have this one, but I have quite a few from this era as as Justice League was, winding down. And man, you want to talk about some C-list team.
Yes.
And it was still kind of fun, Steel. And
it was really interesting. But what I found is that Vibe died so stupidly.
I don't know how he dies.
I read it today. He dies. Okay, he beats the crap out of a robot sent by Dr. Ivo. Okay. And if you guys, people out there, this is a 40-year-old comic. Spoilers don't really count anymore.
Right.
Okay. So Dr. Ivo sends a robot out to kill the members of the Justice League. Vibe was found first, and he was alone. He attacked him. He beat the crap out of the robot, and in the end, the robot had just functioning hands, and the functioning hands strangle him.
Yeah.
So he dies with just a pair of hands. Kind of similar to Two Things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I like it. That's cool. Yeah. And so, do you know how far this was from the last issue?
That is the last arc. This is it ended on a 4-issue arc. That was issue 1, 258. It goes to 261. I believe that
it's a very 80s cover.
Well, it's in 1987. It's like just before, like as I said, that series ends, and then our favorite Justice League begins.
Justice League International, baby.
Well, side quest, if you've ever watched The Flash on television, it's the Cisco Ramon character is Vibe.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I mean, honestly, a lot of those characters show up in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon from the
they brought 90s. They brought Vibe back to life briefly in the just after post-crisis. And then he died again, and then he was one of the Black Lanterns in the Blackest Night. And then in the New 52, they made him alive again. Hi, K-Pop. How are you?
Hey, K-Pop.
So that wraps up First Impressions. So the next thing that we're going to do is what I call Strange Book You Love. Nate is going to show us a book that he really likes that's outside of his comfort zone, his usual thing. Okay?
So... And I will say it's not a strange book, but I do think it's strange for me. I'm particular to DC characters and in general the Silver Age, although I dip my toe into Marvel a lot. But I think this one is a weird one for me, especially for how much I like it. So the series is Exiles, and this is the first issue. I just got this in a collection not too long ago. I'd actually only read this in trade before, but the reason I think this is weird, especially for me, is because it deals with all these like alternate versions or, from different universes of the Marvel multiverse and brings them together as a team. And they're working for a time broker. They have to go. It's like Quantum Leap. Like they have to go fix things that are broken in time so that they can continue to exist, because in their timeline, something happens. There's all these breaks. And so they're all dead basically, or their universes are broken. So if they fix these things, then they get sent back. And throughout the series, different as they make corrections, team members get to go back to their timelines, and then new team members come in. It was written by Judd Winnick. The art early on is by Mike McCone, who is a Justice League International artist that I like a lot. And this is a series that I feel like you have to know kind of a lot of Marvel history to really like, and I don't. So I think it's weird that I do dig it as much, but I do think they do a great job of letting you know who the characters are when they come in, like what their universe was like, what version of the particular character that they are. And I thought it was really clever and really well done. So I have the first trade, and then I have floppies up until about like issue 40 or something. Just a series I really like.
Yes. Let's see here. SideQuest says that he thinks it went 100 issues. Lyle says he's got a few issues of that. So you would recommend people read it, I'm guessing.
I would. Like, I am not very steeped in Marvel lore, so like, I just didn't feel like I don't have the background for this because I don't know I don't know what Age of Apocalypse is. I don't know, especially the X-Men books, because it really is. It's an X-Men book, honestly. Yes. And I am not a big X-Men guy, and I don't know a lot about X-Men, especially like the little micro pockets and things. But I do think this does such a good job, and it's just so fun. Like, they let you know what it is they got to go fix and why they got to fix it. Spoiler. This one, their very first mission, they get sent to find Charles Xavier, and when they find him, it's dun dun dun, he's evil, So
he's in Andor waiting for Superman.
Yes, yeah. But that's all you need, Like, they give you everything you need to enjoy the book, and I think that's something that's a little bit missing in modern books. Like, it's hard to jump into something that's been going on for a while because you don't know what's going on, and they don't do a good job of catching you up. You got to go track those things down. But I feel like this almost always did. And it also felt like it was, I'm trying to think how much issues were when this came out. So this was $3. But I just feel like it was a good bang for your buck book too. Like, it wasn't something that I reread this today, and it wasn't like a 2-minute read like a lot of modern books are.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really like it.
Okay. Next up, our next thing is what we're going to call Cover Show. Nate is going to show 5 books he likes. He's got that he's either for any old reason, he just likes them, and he's going to talk about them briefly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think I did cheat and bring 6. I brought 6. Can I cheat?
Yeah, you can cheat.
All right. Okay. So the first 2 will go quick because they're both, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm sorry. There's so much. It's like its own, X-Men to me is like its own wing of Marvel. Like, there's Marvel and then there's X-Men, but I do, Excalibur, X Factor, and Exiles. Those are the hallways I will walk down. All right, I'm going to start with 2 current books. So this one, called The Moon is Following Us. I am not a huge modern book buyer. I mostly just buy vintage books, but this one I think has real potential. Another YouTuber, not Eric, 9 Panel Comics Eric, different Eric than SideQuest Comics Eric, but he loves this book, written by Daniel Warren Johnson. It is the story of 2 parents who are trying to rescue their daughter who is stuck in perpetual sleep, and they have to go into her dream world in order to wake her up. Like, that's the plot. And
so it's Cinderella. Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, and it's just really imaginative, and I think there's real potential for this to go and be really big. It reminded me of another Image book I really like. Is called Saga, and it's just this big, like sci-fi story. This is like feels similar, but more like fantasy. Like, I get Labyrinth vibes, the 80s movie Labyrinth. Just very imaginative, very cool, like sci-fi fantasy. I'm digging this. So it's only on its second issue. This is a second printing of number 1. And yeah, it's something that I think is currently coming out that's really good. This book I think is getting more recognition now, the second one I'm going to talk about, and that's Grommets, which is like the best 80s movie that never got made about skateboarding teenagers in California. It is the story of a kid who moves to California, and okay, Steven, I can't get you on all of them. That's okay.
Because I have a skateboarding preteen daughter upstairs who does competitions and such. So
awesome.
I can relate to Grommets.
Yeah. So like, this is co-written by, it's Rick Remender, who's a writer I like a lot, and co-written by Brian Posen, who's a stand-up comedian. And if you don't know who he is, you would recognize him. Hey, I promise, Comics Journey, I got some of that stuff coming. But this is just like I said, it reminds me of The Karate Kid. It reminds me of like just those great fish out of water 80s movies. This kid moves to California, makes a group of friends who are kind of losers, but they're skateboarders. And it's on its 5th issue now, and it's going to be a 7-issue series. It's really good. So when the trade comes out, I think people should pick it up. I think it went
I know
into
of it, trade.
multiple printings. Like as it's weird because as this book has gone along, more people have caught on to it. So they started reprinting like issues 1, 2, and 3, I think. And I think number 1 went up to like a 4th printing or something. I just happened to grab it. Again, on this, somebody that I was watching on YouTube was just raving about it. It was Martin, the Aussie comic book collector. And I was like, man, if a guy from Australia thinks this book about California skateboard kids is awesome, I'm going to check it out. And I'm glad I did. This one immediately went on my pull list. Very cool.
Awesome.
Up next is a maxi series from DC back in the day, Camelot 3000, written by Mike Barron and art by Brian Boland. And I think Brian Boland is credited as a co-writer. This is just such a cool. I remember seeing the advertisements for this and thinking, why would they do King Arthur in the year 3000? It just seemed really, ridiculous. And it is, but it's also really, really good. And so again, like this is something that I picked up as individual issues. If you do pick this up as individual issues, the paper quality is insane. Like this was different from what they were doing with their just regular books during this time. It's printed on this really thick paper.
I had a good friend who bought this book because he wanted to see what the difference was, because we saw it at the comic store and was like, ooh, it was so much better nice than the stuff on the newsstand that we were used to buying our books from.
Yeah, it really is. And Eric, this is right up your alley. Like you don't need like DC. It's published by DC, but it's not a DC. There's no superheroes. It's a retelling.
It's very English style, like the with the Brian Boland and the V for Vendetta, Alan Moore. Like it's very.
Mm-hmm. To me, it feels like fantasy Judge Dredd, and maybe that's because of the Brian Boland angle on it. But I really like. So King Arthur is the only one who like comes back as himself. And everybody else that comes back inhabits somebody's body that already exists. And so, and that caught, so like Lancelot and all of the other, Maid Marian, all of the other Knights of the Round Table, they come back, but they inhabit a real person. And there's conflict with the people that they were and the mind that's taking them over. Some of the old storylines play out as far as like, the love triangles and things. And then marry that with like alien invasions and science fiction. It is wild. And I can't recommend it enough. And Merlin back here in the background. So this is issue 1, 12 issue series. All right. Eric says he's got them all. Good deal, brother. Yeah, this is a great book.
Yeah, that is one of the ones that, again, if I was to find it, I'd buy it, but I haven't seen it. So,
I don't know like what I feel like I see it in dollar bins a lot, but it's hey Christopher, but it's not something that I like see the full run of. I'll see a couple issues here and there. I bought that off of a Whatnot auction in somebody's Buy It Now bin or something, because they had like the whole set. They had 1 through 12.
Yeah,
I was really happy to get it.
It's really hard to get the full. You put together those maxi series from the 80s, unless you do like I did with a certain character that, because it came in, I won't mention, and I went on to get.
Did it happen to be, was it Amethyst, Princess of Gem World?
Sure, let's go with that.
Because I'm trying to put that one together too, and it's been a damn bear.
Did you get Legion 298, her first appearance? The 16-page.
Oh, no, not yet, but I'll put it on the dang list.
That's actually hard to find. So,
okay.
But it's Legion of Superheroes 298.
Okay. I'll look that up. I think I've got like 5 of the issues, and the problem is I've got like 1 and then it jumps to 4. So I don't want to I don't want to read those until I can go and order a little bit better. And now we're going to go into some stuff like you would expect me to bring. So Lois Lane 27.
Does that sound better, Lyle?
This one has been on my list for the longest time. Number 1, early Lois, 10 cent. Lois, Lois Lane and Body Transformation, sign me up. And Bizarro. I freaking love Bizarro.
I can't believe you got a cover of Bizarro and big-headed Lois.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's actually, it ticked me off, man, because it doesn't, like, this looks good. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad to have it. And I didn't pay very much for it, but it's like falling apart. So like, it's not just detached cover. It's like all of the pages are falling apart. So it was, I read it, and it's a fun story. Like, Lois, as a reporter, interviews this guy who is, he's getting smart people and he's putting them in this machine, and the machine like copies their knowledge. So she decides she's going to jump in the machine and get all the knowledge. And of course it gives her the big head, and her big fear is that Superman won't love her anymore. And so she's trying to hide from him, and they come up with all these ways for her to hide her giant head. And because she's ugly, Bizarro, because everything's the opposite for him, he thinks she's the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Fun story. It was a fun story.
I see, if I had that's the type of covers I'd like to show on the first impressions. So
yeah, that would be a great one.
Yeah.
The next two, Matt, you will these will be my last two books, and you'll definitely recognize them. So this one here is Action Comics 293.
Yay!
This is my upgrade.
This also fits under stupid pet covers.
Yeah, I love anything with the super pets, and this one has the origin of Comet the Super Horse, and the origin of Comet the Super Horse is the most ridiculous Silver Age thing I've ever read.
Yeah, there seems to be. I think somebody I know sent me one.
Yeah, someone may have sent that across the border, smuggled it across the border for you. Comet the Super Horse starts off as a centaur, and yes, they call him Super Horse. He starts off as a centaur who goes to see Circe, the sorceress, because he wants to become a full human. She creates a potion that's supposed to turn him into a human, but it does the opposite and turns him into a horse. As a consolation prize, she then casts a magic spell on him so that anytime a comet is in the sky, he becomes a full human only for that time. He is in love with Supergirl. And when he's in his human form, he's always trying to get with Supergirl. And when he's in his horse form, he's letting Supergirl ride him. I think that's weird. But
I see that Silver Age to a T.
Yeah, it is Silver Age to the max.
Keep in mind that story where Superman says to her, "We can't get married. I would marry someone super and lovely as you, but we can't marry because we're cousins." Apparently, that's the only reason he won't marry his 15-year-old cousin.
Yes. And it's not just because they're cousins. It's because on Krypton, it's illegal to marry your cousin. Like, he could have went to any number of U.S. states and married her.
In Canada, cousin marriages are legal.
But
including first cousin.
But he just doesn't want to break that Krypton law. So this has been on my list for a while, because anything with the Super Pets first appearances, or in this case, a ridiculous origin story.
Yes.
And then Matt, you'll recognize this last one. This was the next one I brought. So
hang on here. Let's
do twinsies.
Let's do twinsies. Thank you, Stephen.
Very cool. Very cool.
Cool.
So somebody sold their actually both of these came from my local comic shop called Mages. Somebody sold their entire Silver Age Superman collection, and I really had to restrain myself and make some tough choices. Like, they had first Parasite, just some great, there were even a couple of, there were some Golden Age Superman. Those were too expensive for the condition that they were. But yeah, this one is not in great condition. I don't give a crap. I only paid $35 for this, and like for $35, I think it's in tremendous condition. I think they could have asked a lot more. On top of that,
I paid 30 Canadian for my copy, the one I've had for like years.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like garbage. It is like barely a 1.
Yeah, this is definitely better than a 1. I would say this is like a 3. Every copy I ever see, like, I feel like the spine especially is just really, the black, and that's the problem. All the black on this cover really makes the damage show. And I constantly see copies for, close to $100, and they just look terrible. And this one looks better than most of those that I've seen. So I was really happy to get this. And then a quick one more cheat. At the same comic shop, I picked up this. So this is
that's nice.
Treasury edition. And this has reprints of 199 and then the Flash. I can't remember the Flash number. That's the second race. So like their first race was in Superman, and then their second race was in a Flash comic. So this has reprints of both of those. It has a diagram on the inside that you will love, Matt. Did I show you this already?
Yes, you did show it.
Okay.
On your things, yes. But go ahead. The Fortress of Solitude?
Yes. Well, I didn't show it like on the stream. I showed it after we were streaming. I think I just showed you guys. Right. But yeah, on the inside of this has diagrams of the Fortress of Solitude, like what all the rooms are and how it fits into the mountain. And I love crap like this.
Yes.
And then the back has a diagram or like a diorama that you can cut out and make a 3D of this cover. And Steven gave me the great idea that I'm going to take this to a print shop. I'm going to get this printed on cardstock and in color, and then I'm going to set it up and I'm going to put it on my display back there. So
I have a poster of it.
Cool.
Signed by Jim Shooter, the writer of the book.
That's awesome.
I also upstairs have the t-shirt.
I have seen you wear the t-shirt before.
Yes.
Which I think is awesome.
It's one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah, it's one that's been on my list to get for the longest time, and the stars just aligned for me this year because that kind of like Dazzler, my Uncanny 130. Like I just don't want to pay what people are asking when I see the condition that the book is in. Yeah. But I thought $35 was more than fair.
Great, those were great books, Nate. Thank you very, very much for bringing them tonight.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to try and stump each other on trivia questions that we wrote. So I invite the chat to jump in if you know the answer, and if you can, beat us to the punch, well, that's even better. So Nate, as the guest, can ask the first question of me.
All right. No Googling, no Wikipedia.
No, this has to be something in the head.
All right. I think you'll know. I picked two questions I think you stand a good chance of knowing, and the other one I think may stump you, but I won't be shocked if you know them all, Matt. Your knowledge is too deep. Name, what is the Toy Man's civilian name?
Which one?
Well, I wrote down 3. So I would let you pick any of them that you want. I think there's one that's the most famous.
Is the most famous one.
Correct.
The second one has a really weird name, and it's that. I don't remember. He didn't last very long, which is funny because he's the Toy Man that was on the Super Friends.
Right, but they brought Winslow Schott back.
Yeah, and the third one is the Japanese kid from later.
Correct.
I think his name is Akiro.
Hiro Okamura. The one with the weird name is Jack Nimble.
Jack Nimble. Yes,
Jack B. Nimble. Terrible. Okay. But yes,
at the risk of sounding like Alan, I knew that.
I knew that.
Yeah. Okay, so my first question for you. What was the name of the big bad from the 1984 Secret Wars series?
Marvel. What was the name of the big bad Secret Wars? The Beyonder.
Yes, congratulations. Yay!
I knew a Marvel, but I still want to go with Steven's idea. Was his civilian identity Claude Balls?
Yes.
The Beyonder. Okay. My
Beyonder is correct.
My question 2, I will give you 2 options to get it correct. I'll give you 2 options to get it
Okay.
correct. So this is you and I both love the Legion. So and
That's
I
right.
didn't know this at all. I had to look it up. So I got nothing.
I know.
Um, my probably like one of my favorite, he may be my favorite weird character, and that's Matter Eater Lad.
Yes.
Can you tell me either his civilian name or his home planet?
I can do both. It is Tenzil Kem
Yes.
from the city of Pepto, from the planet Bismol.
Yes. Pepto Bismol is one of the
Yeah.
funniest things I've ever seen. Silver Age greatness.
In the current issue of Superman 19, the Time Trapper is in there, and he quotes from the great philosopher Tenzil Kem.
Awesome.
I laughed so hard when I saw that. And
That's
you're
great.
correct. You're correct. It goes to show you how they didn't take themselves so seriously back then.
Right. It was just, I mean, that is so fun. Like,
Yeah.
his name is ridiculous, but the fact that he comes from Pepto on the planet Bismol is just,
Yeah.
and his power is eating anything. It's
Anything.
great.
It's hilarious without being affected. So he never needs Pepto Bismol.
Right. Right.
So, okay, the next question for you is, what was the first superhero team up? I threw this thinking I'd have a second guest that might be able to get this too.
Okay. First superhero team up.
Yes, I will give you a hint. It was in the 40s.
I mean, I want to say Superman and Batman, but
yeah, they never teamed up until they were in a Justice Society book together.
Okay.
That I remember anyway.
I'm gonna say,
even if something else, if I'm wrong,
Namor and the Human Torch.
No, it was actually the Justice Society's All-Star Comics 3 appearance. That was the first time they had more than one superhero in a story where they were together in their first actual adventure. Because I am just picturing Alan right now going, but their first real adventure was number 4 because they're just having a meal in 3. The fact is, 3 is the first appearance of the
of a team. Okay.
Of a team. Although I would give this, I personally would give this.
Yeah, I would too.
There were sidekicks across the board, and I don't think that when it came to the specifics, the specific question was first superhero team up, and Batman and Robin was more of a I'm the experienced guy and I'm teaching you.
Yeah,
similar to Bullet Girl and Bullet Man and et cetera, et cetera. Your turn for number 3.
All right. My last question is the one I thought, okay, it's not really superhero, but it's still within both of our wheelhouses, and it's character that we love. What is the hometown of Prez Ricard?
I have no idea. I have not read the book yet.
I
bought it, but I haven't read it. All right, you got me.
All right. So for
just
people
out
who
of the blue, I'll go St. Louis.
For people who, it's actually a great name for what he is. So like, Prez Ricard is the story of a kid who basically was born to be president, and he gets voted to be president when he's 18 years old. And he is from the small town of Steadfast.
Nice.
Right. Isn't that lovely?
Yes.
So, close. Steadfast. And I don't remember the state.
This would be where a golfer's from.
Right.
So the next one is a little bit of a trick question. I'm throwing it out there because I wanted to do one of DC, one of Marvel, and one independent. So the question is, do you know what the first ever issued Dark Horse comic was? As I said, it's kind of a trick question.
I mean, was it Dark Horse Presents #1?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And that was, I mean, Dark Horse Presents was like an anthology, and that had like first appearance of Terminator, Aliens, all kinds of
I've
stuff.
got
I think.
the first. This book had Hellboy, and the first appearance
Yes.
of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Very cool.
You know, this is annual 1998. So.
Eric says Concrete was in that too. I love Concrete.
I believe that. I really got into Dark Horse Presents when the Predator and Alien became, especially the Predator, became a big part of it. I did a video early on in my career that was about a mini series of Predator. That the original story it was a reprint series because the original stories had been in Dark Horse Presents. So.
Yeah, I had some. I used to read those. Those are ones that did not survive in the collection. A lot of that Dark Horse stuff, and I kind of wish I still had some of it. I do have like my Batman versus Aliens and Batman versus Predator. I think I have some Superman stuff from that era as well. Cement Head and Marble Boy. Those were his sidekicks.
Yes. I understand that Marble Boy really got to roll out of bed every morning.
Get out.
Cement Head. You know what the Cement Head makes me think of? Do you remember that? Have you read the DC Comics Presents 59 yet? Where Stone Boy falls off the side of the thing, turns into stone because he's going to smash on the pavement, then his head goes down into the sidewalk, and they're like, "How do we get him out without killing him?" I mean, that's kind of like a Cement Head. Anyway, thank you very much tonight, Nate, for showing up tonight. Appreciate having you.
Yeah, man.
This was the first episode of Matt Likes Comics and Live Streams. I'm going to be doing this every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That as long as life doesn't stop it from being done. And so next week I have Steve Driscoll coming on, and there may be one more guest. I'm still waiting word on that one.
Awesome.
But we're going to have some fun. And anyway, my name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope that everybody that was here does too. Thank you, everyone.
I do. All right. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.